and you can do those kinds of things. The system is set up such that, now we're looking at this purely from a super administrative role, so there's a lot of features here that you may not necessarily see if you were a client of ours, just because there's just a lot of things you would never use. But you can look at in terms of the content as far as a listing. And the nice thing about Drupal is that it manages content in terms of different types of content. So one type of content could be a frequently asked question. Now, a frequently asked question can be something it's a little bit different than a normal page because you're asking a question and you're giving an answer. And so the layout's going to be a little bit different. Same way with a blog entry. You can see here on the drop-down. A blog entry is another type of content where it allows the site visitor to not only read the article, but then to be able to add a comment. So it's going to manage those types of content a little bit differently. But you can see from the drop-down here that there's all kinds of content that can be built. Virtually, it's endless as far as the types of content that you can build. If it's a situation where it doesn't ship with a certain type of content piece, we can create new types of content, even if it doesn't have it out of the box. Now, you'll notice here on the left-hand side, we have a whole new menu structure for admins, and you can see here, your account information, create content, and this is basically relates to what an admin would see. So if you're not logged in, you would not see this sidebar at all. But now the question becomes, where's the crossover between Drupal and CiviCRM? You'll notice here, if we click on the Donate Now, we have a menu that is configured, or we've configured it in such a way that the online contribution form is nested inside the page. So we have a seamless field of when a donor comes to your site, all of the data is going to be captured off of the site. So this can work for online giving pages, or it can work for event registration and so forth. Or there may be custom data fields you want to capture as well. So all that information then routes inside the database. So I want to point out here, you'll notice that the menu has changed. We haven't left the site, but the menu has changed. Before we were on the Drupal menu, now we're on the CiviCRM menu. So if we wanted to take a look at maybe our donors and you want to do a search, we could just do a search on the record, on the database to pull up information. And from here you can see this is a list of all of the I guess there's 102 contacts. Now we could filter this even further by just saying, okay, let's search on maybe people who've given from a specific date or amount. So let's just say, I don't have a lot of information here. I'll just say $1 just so I can pull up information. But it'll pull up anybody who meets that criteria. And we have 12 contacts that meet that criteria. And we can go through the process and drill down and look at Jason Parker's record. And from here you can see that Jason has made 2 contributions, the amounts, the dates. You can see pledges, memberships. You can see what events that Jason's registered for. And so basically this is a way to kind of summarize information. So now, in addition to this, we can also use the database to, or use CiviCRM to actually manage contribution pages. So not only can you just look up information, but we can also support many different giving pages. So for example, the page that I showed you earlier, Help Us in the Violence, that was just one contribution page. You could set up multiple different contribution pages, and you could see here, these are the different settings for those pages. So if you want to change out the title of the page, maybe the giving amounts, what if there's a membership associated to that page, maybe you want to gather additional information on that page. So for example, on that contribution page, you want to ask about their volunteer interests, dates and times they're available to register. Well, when you build a profile, you can link that profile to that contribution page, so you can capture additional information beyond just giving amounts and billing information. And it all feeds into the system. Same way with the thank you and receiving, it supports that. Tell a friend, personal campaign pages, so if you want to allow your donors to actually create their own giving pages and then forward it to their friends, so they're raising money on behalf of the organization. Contribution widget, if you like those like little graphical tools where you can maybe have a goal amount of raising $10,000 in the next 30 days, and you want your site visitors to see the details as far as how much is raised in terms of with the overall goal, as well as being able to capture that information. Same with premiums. So maybe you want to offer a gift in exchange for their gift. All that is supported in the system. Now, the events are very similar. It's about a 5 or 6 step process in order to manage an event. So if you want to create an event, you simply just go through the process of building out the event pages. And it's already got predefined templates, and you can say what kind of event. It's a conference. You also have tools to be able to look at dashboard information. So you can see, let me pull up more recent information here. So if you want to see graphically, as well as a tabular report of who's given by date range, whether it's a bar chart or a pie chart. It's also got reports. You see there's all kinds of different reports here. And we can make these reports available to showcase on the dashboard. So if I go back to the dashboard here, if I want to make these dashboards reports to show up, let me just add a few. And you can see this is all customizable for the user. So for the user, there may be a report that's specific to one user versus another. And these are all set up to where each user can manage their own dashboard. So from an administrative standpoint, the system is structured that you can administer the system to support really what you need. So it ships with a lot of things out of the box. So if you want to configure maybe different option lists in terms of maybe you want to change out the individual prefixes and suffix of the contract record, or maybe you want to change out the contribution types or accepted credit cards. It all allows you to do it right here through the interface. And the nice thing about this is, once again, we can kind of go back and forth between our donor management software system and go back into the website itself. So we haven't really left the site at all. We're just bouncing back and forth. At this point, I feel like I've kind of covered a lot of, at least comprehensively, the system.